So, I mean, this is a big thing. So, I mean, feedback has this connotation. It is not that positive, but changing this connotation or this way of how people feel about it is in my opinion, a big thing. So, how do you how do you think strategically about the marketing process? So, and also the execution. I mean, this is a big task.
It is, and we can't change it overnight. We can only
Yes.
change it through concerted efforts of helping people to normalize that feedback isn't something that when you hear about, like sometimes, you have a cold sweat hearing that you got feedback, right?
Hmm.
Or you're about to be pulled in for a call. How do we change that culture? And I think one of the biggest way that we're going to be focused in 2021 is really making it more of a habit and a ritual where if you constantly always get feedback, both positive and constructive, you're gonna start believing that, oh, when I get feedback, it's like a gift. I'm actually delighted to see it.
Hmm.
And for us, it's really about creating content that speak to our users. So one of the things that our team is still fairly scrappy and small. We're a team of 13. So the marketing team is myself and two other people, right? So it's still a very small team, and we don't have the multi-million dollar budget that we would have,
Hmm.
at Apple, right? And so we have to think about what are ways we can bring people into our door. And a lot of that is through like SEO, building out amazing content that
Hmm.
people might be Googling for something, but now they enter our website because they're curious about certain things, right? Like some of the stuff that we noticed that during COVID-19 was that there was an uptick in like keywords for analytical thinking because every job description now has the word analytical thinking in there, right? Or
Okay.
interpersonal skills, right? So if you search up those two terms, we're currently right now on like the top like one results, right? So a lot of the effort that we do is thinking about we're not here because someone is looking for feedback. What they're looking for is improving in skills, actually.
Yes.
There a lot of people that want feedback is because they want to hone in or refine a craft, right? For them, the craft could be marketing, but a lot of the time we notice that people actually want to improve on soft skills, professional skills, right?
Yes.
It's harder to improve in verbal communication or leadership versus if you learn something that are more technical and hard. Both probably hard, but in the long term, it's harder to work on those soft skills because people typically don't give you those feedback because it's so small. They don't know how to give it to you. So on the platform, whenever you give a feedback, we always ask them to like, hey, can you put together what skill you're trying to give this feedback for? So that way they have a way to start the conversation, right? I think
Mhm.
that's really important for us. And that I mentioned earlier is that our content marketing needs to support those effort of um people might not know that to improve a skill, you first need to get feedback on it.
Mhm.
It sounds kind of like a catch 22, like, well, you can't really
Yeah.
work on verbal communication until you know that you're not good at it or like maybe you could improve in it, right? Because a lot of time people go through their career not getting feedback on a certain thing, not because like they didn't know, it's just nobody tell them about it, right? And
Yeah.
typically you might be spending thousands of dollars on a skill that you might actually be good at but people aren't telling you about it, or you might be spending it on the wrong skills that you should be working on, right? I think that's
Mm.
really important, and that's how kind of like feedback help you kind of check where your some of your blind spot, but also where some of your strengths are in.
Mm.